Today's workout is a full body workout using resistance bands and any weights that you have around. To start, we're going to come down onto the floor. Hands are directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. Press the armpits away from the floor and rotate the upper arms outwards so the soft parts of the elbows are facing forwards. Lift belly to spine and then taking about 10 rounds of cat-cow. Inhaling, lifting the sitting bones, the chin, the chest. Exhaling, rounding the spine, pressing the floor away and tucking tailbone under. Inhaling, arching the spine and exhaling, rounding the spine. Move with your own breath at your own pace. As you inhale and exhale, explore your body and notice how it feels. Take a couple more breaths here, and then come back to neutral. Moving on to bird dogs. As you inhale, moving opposite arm and leg out away from you, and exhaling, returning hand and knee back to the floor. Your goal is to keep your spine as immobile as possible. So connect to your core, lift the belly to the spine. Inhale, reach left arm, right leg out. Exhale to lower. Inhale, right arm, and left leg. Exhale to lower. And keep moving with your own breath, going through about 5 on each side. Continue to press the floor away from you, away from the armpits, stabilizing the shoulders. Press down through the thumb and index finger knuckles to take weight off of the wrists, and keep lifting the belly towards the spine, stabilizing the hips, the lower back. Then come to neutral and make circles around your wrists. So shoulders circling the wrists. And take a few rounds in each direction, just warming up the hands a little bit more. Shake out the hands, and then make your way down onto the floor, lying down on your back, knees bent and feet flat. The next exercise are dead bugs. So the goal of dead bugs is to keep the whole spine down on the ground. Tilt the pelvis so the lower back presses down into the ground. Keep the back of the ribs down on the floor. Reach the arms up overhead beyond your ears. How far your arms can go down towards the ground depends on shoulder flexibility. So if the rib cage lifts up off of the floor, or the lower back lifts up off the floor, reset, tilt the pelvis, draw the back of the ribs down into the floor, and then bring the arms back overhead. As you exhale, right arm and left leg move towards each other. Inhale to lower. Exhale. Left arm, right leg, inhale to lower, and keep moving with your breath. If that's too easy, you can start with hands and knees over corresponding shoulder and hip joints, and then exhale to bring your legs in and arms in, inhale to reach out. Go for 5 on each side. So just waking up the stabilizing muscles of the core. One more on each side. And coming back to neutral, bring both knees into the chest and release the lower back. Roll up and over the knees. If you have a block or two, or a couple of cushions, place one in front of your mat at the top of the mat and one down at the bottom of the mat. Place one block or cushion between the hands and the other between the ankles. Tilt the pelvis and press the pubic bone down into the ground. Inhale to lift up arms, legs, head and chest. Exhale to lower. Keep the ears between the arms as you lift and lower. Your goal is to lengthen your spine as much as possible. So think about reaching the feet and the fingertips as far away as you can. Just a few more. Inhaling, lifting, exhaling, lowering. And releasing all the way down, removing the blocks. Press the floor away from you and make your way up to standing. Okay, warm up complete. Let's roll out the neck a couple of times, just release any tension that may be present. Roll the shoulders, And let's go on to a few warm-up squats. So inhaling, lowering down. Keep your abdominals engaged, so keep drawing the ribcage backwards in space. Lift the pubic bone up towards the navel. Inhale to lower down, bringing the hips back. Exhaling, standing up, reaching the hands up overhead. Try to avoid arching the spine as you move. Keep your abdominals switched on. Inhaling, lowering down, and exhaling, lifting up. At the same time, you want to avoid rounding through the lower back. Try to keep the knees over the ankles and the thighs and knees pointing in the same direction as your second and third toes. Also try to keep the shoulders down away from the ears. So think of creating as much space in the neck as you can. Almost done. Okay, shake it out, and if you need to take a water break, you can take one now quickly, and then we'll get started with the actual workout. So first up is squats. If you want to use some extra weight, you can. I've got a couple of dumbbells here, so we'll add in the shoulder press. Inhale to lower down, exhale to stand up, bringing the hands up over the head. Tilt the pelvis and engage the glutes by pressing the heels down into the ground as you stand up from the squats. Try to keep your wrists over your elbows as you move your arms up and down, out to the sides. Inhaling, lowering down. Exhale, stand up, arms out, overhead press. Inhale to lower, bring the hands in, squat down. Keep going, just a few more. Focus on good form, good safe form, rather than on speed. Make sure that you're not holding the breath as you move. Keep breathing, and when you're complete, release the weights and weights down on the floor. Second exercise is push-ups, and I'll show you two options, or three options actually. So highest option maybe with the hands against the wall or a fridge. Your goal is to keep an active plank. Try to avoid bending from the hip. You want to keep your whole body moving together, like as though your body was a surfboard. Engaging the glutes, the quadriceps, the abdominals. Try also to keep the ears in line with the shoulders. So here's option 2, using a lower surface. You can use a table or maybe a couch, preferably one that doesn't move around. Okay, third option will be down on the floor, which I will demonstrate as well. So you will pick whichever level is most suitable for you. Try not to bring the knees down to the ground. Keep the legs straight. This will help to keep your core engaged. Inhaling to lower down and exhaling to press the surface away from you. Try to keep the shoulders away from the ears here. Feel the shoulder blades moving away from each other and towards each other. Almost done. When you're complete, make your way back up to standing. Shake out your hands, take a little breather, and we're going to come down actually into the same position. So whichever level you were at before, we're going to come into an active plank again. So think about drawing the feet out away from each other, and then coming into mountain climbers, we're going to slowly bring one knee in towards the chest and stepping back into an active plank. Remember to switch the glutes on every time you step your foot back down onto the ground. Keep the chest lifted, chin off the chest, looking forwards. We're going to do 10 on either side and focus on the movement being controlled and again immobilizing the spine. So as little movement through the spine as you can. Exhale to bring knee to chest. Inhale to straighten the leg. 10 mountain climbers on each side. Keep breathing. Keep rotating the upper arms outwards, shoulders down away from the ears. Pressing down through palms of the hands. And when you're finished, make your way into child's pose. Knees wide, hips back, head down to the floor. You can roll out your wrists here. And then we're going to go through those same 3 exercises one more time. Make your way up to standing for the second round of squat to shoulder press. This time I use a kettlebell. Again, inhaling, lowering down, and exhaling, lifting up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Try to keep your hips and shoulders facing forwards at all times. 6, 7. Shoulders down away from the ears. Engaging the glutes. 8, 9, and 10. Good. Place the weight down on the floor and come into your push-up position of choice. Come into a strong active plank, activating the legs, the glutes, the abdominals. Inhale, bend the elbows, lowering down towards the floor, and exhaling, pressing up, away. For this round, I'm demonstrating on a higher surface. Try to keep your ears in line with the rest of your body, so with the shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles. Okay, after your 10, come up to standing, release the wrists, the shoulders, the neck, and then coming into mountain climbers, 10 on each side. 1, 2, 3, keep breathing, exhaling, driving knee forwards, and inhaling, driving back. 4, 5, try to prevent the hips moving side to side or lifting up. 7, keep engaging the glutes. 8, almost there. 9, one more on each side, and 10. Okay, you can stretch it out, downward facing dog, or coming to child's pose, knees down, feet together, bringing the hands towards each other, reaching forwards, or rolling the wrists out. Okay, you can have a short break, take a drink of water now, and then we'll move on to the second round. So first exercise is reverse lunges. Start with your feet in line with your hips. Inhale, step one leg back, bending both knees. Front knee over ankle. Exhale to step forward. And going for 10 on each side. From the side, you're wanting to try keep your knee more or less over your ankle and not allow your front knee to travel too far forwards towards your toes. That's 5. Inhale down, exhale up. 6. 6 on the second side. I like to use my arms as though I'm a running man. It usually helps with the balance. If you find that you're off balance, reconnect to your core. Focus on one point that doesn't move around. That's 9. One more on each side. And 10. And an extra 1. Okay. From here we're going to go on to banded rows. So if you have a band, you can place the band around the base of the foot, so around the ball of the foot. The red band is a stronger resistance band, and the yellow one is a lighter one. If you only have a light one, you can double the band over so you get a bit more resistance. Place your feet against the wall, knees bent, spine straight, chest lifted, shoulders back. As you exhale, draw the elbows back. Inhale, let the elbows move forwards. Make sure that each movement comes from the shoulders. So you should feel the shoulder blades moving away from each other as the arms reach forward, and the shoulder blades moving towards each other as the elbows reach back. Aim for full range of motion, should be about number 7 or 8. Exhale to pull back. Inhale to reach forward or straighten the arms. Almost finished. And then release. From here, coming onto your hands and your feet. So still with the sitting bones on the floor, we're going to lift the hips up, coming into a crab position, and alternating left arm, right leg, and tapping the hand and foot towards each other. Crab toe touch. Do your best to keep lifting your hips up, pressing down through the heels and tilting the pelvis posteriorly. So that means lifting the pubic bone up towards the navel and lengthening the tailbone away from the heart. If this is too difficult, you can keep both hands on the floor and just lift up one leg at a time. Keep rolling the shoulders back and pressing the armpits away from the floor. Your goal is again to stabilize the body, so focus on the quality of the movement rather than on the speed. Almost done here. Okay, shake out those wrists, roll out the neck. You can take a quick water break and then we'll go through those same 3 exercises again. For the lunges for the second round, if you feel stable, you can add in some weight, either using a kettlebell or dumbbells. You may choose to do single arm bicep curls, as I demonstrated in the beginning, or you can let the hands hang, or you can go for double bicep curls, so both arms moving together. Again, 10 reverse lunges on each leg. Stay focused on one point that doesn't move around. Draw the navel back towards the spine. And try to keep your feet in line with your hips. Almost done. And then after your 10 on each side, place the weight down on the floor, if you're using weight. Next, come down onto the floor with your resistance band for banded rows. Feel the sitting bones pressing down into the ground. Lengthen the spine. Lift the chest. Exhale, shoulders back, elbows back. Inhale to bring the elbows forwards. And we're going for 10. So that's 2, 3. Feel free to adjust whenever you need to. 4, 5. Try not to let the band pull you forwards. Try to keep the spine immobile. 6, 7, 8. Almost done. 9 and 10. Release the band. Coming on to hands and feet, getting ready for crab toe touches. Second round. Lift the hips, tilt the pelvis. Press the armpits away from the floor and then exhaling, lifting one leg, inhaling, lowering, and going for 10 on each side. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, reset the hips whenever you need to, 8, 9, and one more each side, 10. Bring the hips down, shake out the hands. Okay. Take a little break, enjoy the rest, and then we've got 3 more exercises. You can take a quick drink of water and then make your way down onto the floor, lying down on your back with knees bent. You can use a block or a cushion to place between the thighs, Heels underneath the knees, preparing for bridges. Start by pressing the heels down into the ground, squeezing the block, activating your adductors. Tilt the pelvis posteriorly so your lower back is pressing down into the ground. Continue to drive the heels into the floor to raise the hips up towards the ceiling, keeping a posterior tilt as you go. Exhale to lift up and inhale to lower down. Keep squeezing the block as though someone is trying to steal the block away from you. We're taking 10 rounds here as well. If you find that this is too easy for you, you can lift up one leg and maybe 3 to 5 or all 10 repetitions on the one side and then changing to the other side, just according to your level of fitness. Once you're complete, remove the block. Come up to seated. Getting ready for Russian twists. Again, place the block between your thighs. Lengthen the spine, lift the chin off the chest, draw the shoulders back, and then lean back. Reach the hands forwards, and easier option is to keep the feet flat on the floor, or to make it more challenging, lift the feet up off the floor. If this is challenging enough, just hold here, or if you feel that this is fairly easy for you, then you can add in spinal rotations. You may also use a block between the hands, and this helps to ensure that there is rotation through the rib cage, or rather through the spine, so the rib cage is moving, the shoulders are moving, rather than just waving the arms from side to side. Take 10 repetitions to each side. Exhaling out to the side, inhale to center. Keep squeezing the block between the thighs. Try to minimize the amount of movement from the hips to the feet. Keep lifting the chest, drawing the shoulders back. And you can always make this more challenging by using a dumbbell or a kettlebell. Just make sure there is no strain in the lower back. When you are complete, bring the soles of the feet together, knees out, fold forward to release. Then coming over onto your side for side plank raises. Your goal is to keep your joints aligned, so knees, hips, shoulders all stack on top of each other. And press the floor away from you, so raising the hips up as high away from the floor as you can. Try to keep your knees stacked. Easiest option is to have the bottom leg knee bent. More challenging, the top leg in front of the back leg, and even more challenging, top leg stacked directly on top of the lower leg. Find the version that suits you best, and continue for 10 repetitions on each side. Once you've finished with the first side, go straight over to the second side. Again, choose your suitable level regarding the leg position. And then exhale to lift up the hips, inhale to lower. Try to resist the hips or the shoulders from twisting. Engaging the legs, the glutes, the abdominals, muscles in the shoulders, or just a grounded shoulder. And then when you're complete with that, take a quick break. And then we'll repeat that round one more time. Lie down on your back, knees bent, feet flat, heels in line with the hips. And we're going to do this round of bridges a little bit differently. No block this time. But again, lift the hips up, and we're going to keep the hips lifted. Continue to tilt the pelvis posteriorly, lifting the pubic bone up towards the navel and sending the tailbone away. Start walking the feet slowly, a little bit out at a time, taking about 8 steps and reaching your feet out as far as you can, maintaining posterior pelvic tilt. Slowly walk the feet back in, grounding down through the heels, trying to keep the hips lifted as high as you can. Try to alternate which leg you start stepping out and back in with, and These are pretty intense, so take it according to how your body responds. You can take breaks when you need to, as with all of these exercises. If at any stage you find your form is starting to become poor, so for example, you're losing your pelvic tilt, stop, reset, and then continue. So this is number 3. And try to make it up to 10 if you can. Keep breathing as you move. Keep lifting the hips, and you should feel the work in the hamstrings and the glutes, from the back of the thighs and the bum muscles. Walking it back in now for 4. And walking out for 5. This might seem like it's going really slowly, and it is. But this will help to build strong hamstrings, helping to prevent knee injuries, lower back problems. Okay, take a quick break at the halfway mark. Stretch or rub the hamstrings, the glutes, and then when you feel ready to continue, reset, lift the hips, and start walking the feet out. Keep grounding down through the head and the shoulders. Keep the chin off the chest by looking up towards the ceiling. And keeping the chin up off of the chest will help to protect the back of the neck. Keep breathing. Keep taking small steps in and out. Keep driving the heels down into the ground. We've got one more of these wonderful bridge walkouts to complete. And then walking back in. And then gently release the rest of the spine down to the floor. Hug the knees to the chest. Stretch out the hamstrings, the glutes, mainly the glutes. And then make your way up to seated. Okay, those were pretty tough. And I just recently discovered that exercise. So I thought that I would share it with everybody. So you're welcome. Okay, let's go on to Russian twists. Block between the thighs, chin off the chest. Chest lifted, shoulders back. Exhaling, rotating to the side. Inhaling, coming back to center. So here I have my toes just touching the floor, and then I made it a little bit easier by placing the whole foot on the floor. Keep squeezing your block and try to minimize the movement through the lower body as much as possible. I see I have a little bit of movement through the legs, so I need to squeeze that block more next time. Alright. Roll over onto your side and elbow just in front of the shoulder, forearm at 90-degree angle to the rest of the body. Coming into side plank raises for 10 repetitions. Exhaling, lifting the hips. Inhaling, lowering down. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Roll over onto the other side. If you're feeling discomfort in the shoulder, try bringing your elbow further forwards or closer in towards your hips. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, last 2, 9, and 10. Alright. That brings us to the end of the actual workout. Well done. Now we've just got a few minutes of stretching. So let's start in a downward facing dog. Hands and feet are in plank positioning or plank distance apart. Press the chest back towards the shoulders. Soften. That is chest pressing back to the thighs. Ground down through the palms of the hands. Rotate the upper arms outwards and lift the sitting bones up away from both the hands and the feet. Lift the belly to the spine, and then start walking the feet in towards the hands, coming into a forward fold. The head is soft and relaxed. The knees are soft and maybe just slightly bent, or maybe bent a lot. But make sure there is at least a slight bend in the knees. Now, cross the right leg over the left leg and fold forward. Press the right thigh into the left knee, and you can use a block to support you if the floor is too far away. Maybe you don't need the block, and you can bring hands all the way down to the floor. You should be feeling work in the outside of the left hip and thigh, maybe even down into the calf. Start making your way up, and then we'll switch to the other side. Left leg over right. Press the left knee back into the right. Try to keep the hips level, and then fold forwards. Let the breath become slower, deeper, and longer. On your next inhalation, come up to standing, and then we'll work on stretching the chest. So if you have a doorway, you can place hands on either side of the doorway, step one leg forwards, and lunge into a chest stretch. If you don't have any doorways that are suitable size, then bring your elbow in line or below your shoulder, forearm against the door, step forward, and then rotate your upper body away from your arm. And you should feel stretch in the chest and front of the shoulder. Take 5 slow breaths here, and then switch over to the other side. You should start to feel the heart rate beginning to slow down, your breath returning to normal, heart rate returning to normal. Getting a nice stretch in the other side of the chest and shoulder, and then gently to release. Next, we're going to really round the back. So draw the ribs in, draw the pubic bone up towards the navel, and then opposite hand reaches across the doorway, and then you pull backwards. So stretching the left side of the back between the shoulder blade and the spine, maybe feeling this into the neck. And where exactly you feel depends on how much of a twist or lack of twist you have in the spine. Switch to the other side and really emphasize on rounding the back, drawing the ribs as far back as you can. Draw the belly in towards the spine and drop the chin to the chest. You can lean your weight backwards, and maybe you can get a little bit further. Last breath or two here. And then releasing, coming back up to standing. If you have a bar to hang off of, you can do a minute or so of hanging, and that just helps to release tension in the spine. At the same time, it helps to build grip strength in the hands. You can also do things like shoulder shrugs. So letting the shoulders lift up towards the ears and then pulling the shoulders down away from the ears. Maybe some twists. Anything that feels nice. And then releasing. Interlace the hands behind the back, palms facing towards each other. Draw the shoulder blades towards each other and then bend from the hips, folding forward. Try to keep your spine as straight as you can. Knees are soft and head is relaxed. Inhale to rise up. And then again, tilt the pelvis so that the pubic bone lifts up to the navel. Take hold of one ankle and try to keep your knees in line with each other, as well as the hips. Stretching out the quadriceps on the one leg. Keep focusing on one point that doesn't move around to help stay balanced. Take 5 breaths for each leg. Make sure you're not collapsing into the lower back. Abdominals switched on and chin parallel to the floor. After your 5 breaths are complete, release, and then we're going to come into standing pigeon stretch. So cross right ankle over left knee, bend at the hips and send the hips backwards. Left knee is bent. You have option to keep your hands on your hips, or maybe to bring your forearms to your shin. To get deeper, you would fold further forwards. Take 5 breaths on each leg. If you struggle to balance, you can hold onto any available surface that is stable to assist you in balancing. You should feel the stretch in the outside of the hip or thigh. Another option is you can hold onto a block. Okay, and I think we're almost at the end. Let's bring soles of the feet together, knees out to the sides. You can place blocks underneath either or both knees or thighs if that makes it feel more comfortable for your knees. There should be no pain in the knees. From here, with a straight spine, you would start to lean forward. If you have no pain in the lower back, then you can round the spine. But if you have any lower back problems, any compressed or bulging discs, herniated discs, then avoid rounding in any forward fold. Always keep the lower back as flat as you can. Okay, and that brings us to the end of the workout. Well done, you made it. Thank you everybody for joining me. Goodbye.